Okay, so on the hunt for real bell bottoms, went to Destin Commons today, and it's kind of raining a little bit. And this is October 2019, and I found all of about 3 stores that had real bell bottoms, but only like 1 pair. Except for one store that had several pairs, and they were really nice bell bottoms. They were probably 30-inch bells. They were pretty decent. If you go to NOLA, they have 90-inch bells and 100-inch bells back in the 80s, actually. And is a company that makes them. They're unreal pants, and guys and girls wear them. They're pretty wild. They hang chains off them and stuff. But it's funny. I mean, one of my college degrees is fashion design and merchandising, my first one at UCLA. And so I was really into all that. I wanted to be a famous fashion designer in New York. Probably a good thing I didn't do that. Very competitive field in New York. But anyway, I know what bell bottoms are. I wore them. I was there for bell bottoms. They were really, really prominent till the late 70s. Then they started going into peg legs and zip up the side pants at the ankle and pachuco type looking pants, like suit pants with pleats and little cuffs. Sort of like men's pants. They were really cute if you wore jazz shoes with them or heels. And then velvet 2-piece running suits was a big thing. But bell bottoms are really neat. Real bell bottoms. It's funny because I went in this one store and this girl says, "Yes, I've got bell bottoms. They're pretty big." Went over and she pulls these pants out and they look like, I can't even think of the name of the company in California that used to make those pants. And they're just kind of like baggies is what they are. They're not bell bottoms. Bell bottoms look more like a bias cut. I make bell bottoms. I know what they are. I wore them when they came out, and I studied them. When I got out of school at UCLA, my first job offer was at a place called Jag Jeans. That was a really big jean company in the 70s. And I went, no. They really wanted me to. And they said, why? That's a really good job offer. And I'd be working in downtown LA and be a designer and everything. And I said, no. And he's like, why? I said, because I don't want to design jeans. You can only do so much with jeans. And back then we had window pane jeans. We had bleached jeans. We didn't have holey jeans quite yet. I'll tell you a story about that later. We had rainbow tie-dye jeans, just all kinds of jeans. Just, I mean, lattice side jeans, every kind of jeans. And they would come in all different kinds of blues. They had almost white and baby blue and dark blue and just about a black Levi type looking thing. They had button up the side, zip up the side waist, lace up the front, all kinds of cool stuff. But it was funny, this one girl, she tries to tell me these jeans, she shows me these are bell bottoms. I said, no, they're not. Well, these other ones we have, they're about 4 inches narrower, which is a total of 8. And she held up the pant leg. And I said, no, you're talking like straight legs or peg leg jeans. I said, those are not bell bottoms. And so, it's really sad because people should know their product. I don't care how old you are. If you're in fashion retail, you should know a little bit about fashion. You should know what you're selling. And I don't care if you weren't born in the 70s or lived the 70s. I mean, there's a lot of fashions I know about that are way back from, the 1800s and 1910 and so that. And I didn't live then. But I studied all that. I was avid in that. Because when I met with Edith twice, who was a very, very famous fashion designer, I sat right next to her at the Porte. I can't remember what year. I think it was 74 74 or 75 at the Pret-a-Porte fashion show. I went to a few of those. I was very lucky to go to those. And I sat right next to her and got her autograph, everything. And we sat and talked during the show. And I had asked her, I said, what is fashion? What is it? What is in fashion? And she looked at me and she said, well, fashion is what you make it. I said, what? She says, I'm like, but what's the style? What's in style to wear? What is the thing, you know? She said, well, all I can tell you is the basic colors. And your shoes should match your pocketbook and complement to your top. She said, and those colors are white, black, emerald green, navy blue, and those were the big colors. I was like, really? Interesting. And she said, fashion is really what you make it. She said, fashion is like a bathtub draining out. You know the little circle around the drain as it goes around and around and the water's draining out? She said some things get thrown down the drain and some things stay. And then later they come back up. And it could be years later or whatever. And a lot of that's because people have backstock that did not sell as the style changed. So they stuff it in a warehouse. It could be there 5, 10, 15 years. And they bring it back and sell it as like a vintage look. Because the stuff gets damaged. Leather jackets get destroyed. Leather and vinyl jackets get destroyed in storage. And they'll just sell it as some stuff that's a style. And so it's really funny because I went to Destin Commons and I only found like 3 places that had a pretty good bell bottom. And I found one that had really true bell bottom. Bell bottoms, what they do is they make heavier people look thin. They're very, very complimentary to heavy people. And so they're comfortable. They're warm. They can be worn with flat shoes or heels or platforms. The only thing bad about bell bottoms is if you have to ride a bicycle, you got to take a hair tie or something and tie around the bottom of one leg because it will definitely get caught in the chain. But they're a sexy pant and they're comfortable. And they're cute on skinny people and they're cute on heavy people, which it's been hard through the years for heavy people to be dressed attractively and hip because designers don't like to take the time to dress heavier people. You know, guys like heavy and thin nowadays. It's not everybody has to be cocaine skinny. All different sizes and varieties and shapes is very in today. In the 2000s. So I found at Forever 21, I found one bell bottom there, but it was kind of just one in one color, and didn't impress me. And it was like around $30. And then I went to a place that I was referred to called Express. Some very nice ladies at the Belks referred me over there. And I went to Express and one other store there in the mall. And Express had one pair that were really good looking. They were like lace up the front waist. And then they were on sale. They were like $80 or something, and they were on sale for like $30. And but they were huge. They only had the one pair left. They said somebody come in and cleaned them out. I believe it. But they were really pretty pants. And I don't like to take in jeans. I'm not a big fan of taking in jeans. I'd have got them for sure. They're a nightmare because you have to disassemble them and put them back together, and you have to use really heavy needles to do jean work. But I went to another store. The girl didn't know what I was talking about because she thought she did, and she doesn't know fashion. not educated. You really need to know your product when somebody comes in and asks you for something. Bell bottoms is really big this year. That's going to be the new winter thing. Is the real traditional bell bottoms, as big as you can get them, like from the 70s. And that is a big, big thing. They're all over the internet. Big, big deal. And I think it's nice. They're fun pants. You wear them casual, dress up, whatever. Um, I never was a great fan of jeans. Um, but yeah, I had just about every kind of a fancy bell-bottom jeans with the zippers and the lace-ups and all that cool stuff. But I never liked regular jeans. I just Levi's and all that stuff. I just did not throw me. And I had some people give me like 50 pairs one year when I had moved to Oklahoma and said, "You really need to be wearing Lee jeans and stuff." And uh, they're gross. I hate them. I'm just not the one that wears the little white pointed tennis shoes and Pendleton shirts and jeans. I do not like them. They're like liquid steel, and um, they say they keep you really warm in the winter and all that. And I just don't have any interest in them. I think they look hokey. They're good for me, like working on a car or something. You know, if I have to crawl on the ground or whatever, they're pretty good to protect your skin because they're heavy. But they're really bad on leather seats in your cars and furniture. They're like sandpaper. They're so tough. But but I went to this one shop, which I'm gonna post that blog at Dustin Commons that I had been in one time before. It has kind of hippie clothes, kind of very much looking like 60s. But today they had those cool 70s bell bottoms with the stars all over them, and I'll post that vlog in a little while. They're rad. They are rad. Um, and they were definitely expensive, but that's the only one they got in. She had some others that she'd already sold out, but they've got about 10 pairs of those things. And I told her, I said, "You need to order more." I said, "They're absolutely fabulous." Um, I love them. They're absolutely beautiful. It's just they're a little bit pricey for jeans, especially when they're wore out looking like that. I can't stand wore out looking stuff. Faded jeans are pretty, but I don't like it with the rips and the tears, and I don't like the frayed bottoms and all that. That just looks like you've been wearing them without platforms and dragging them in the ground all day long. They look hideous. But the reason we wore long pants, especially bell bottoms or baggies, was to cover up the ugly platforms because men never found platform shoes sexy. Back then, we really didn't have pretty, sexy shoes. Nowadays, they have some really pretty, very beautiful platforms. And, you know, there were a couple makers way back that did some really beautiful platforms, but they were like $250 and up, you know. Um, Casual Comfort did a lot of wedges and platforms and corkies and stuff. And all that stuff's $30 or so. Um, and there was a couple of other companies that did some really neat shoes. Um, but Apropos had some awesome shoes in Marina Del Rey, California. Holy heck. And they were all from Europe. They were the newest stuff. I can't tell you how many pairs of shoes I bought from there. They were just absolutely enchanting. But back then, I was selling clothes in Beverly Hills for big names. I did sell jeans one time in like a Britannia type store in Westwood in California. And I mean, all the jeans were like $200 in this store. And it didn't, to me, it wasn't any different than going to the Gap. That's what I was trying to think of earlier that did the big baggies was the Gap. I don't even know if they're still in business, but um, uh, they used to have really cool surfer clothes and baggies and stuff. But and in the bright colors and things, and they weren't jeans; they were more like dress pants. But interesting. So tell me what you think about bell bottoms. If you wore them when they were in, and if you think that's a new style today and you really like them, because they were back in the 70s, in case you don't know. Um, and what do you think about them? And that's if you're a guy or a girl. Tell me what you think about them. Would you wear them? Let me tell you what was sexy back in the late 70s and early 80s was I had gone to my first um, uh, uh, Chippendales show. Serena took me. She begged me and begged me. I'll pay for your ticket. Da, da. We had to wait in line for hours. Let me tell you, and I drank back in the day, and let me tell you, we went in there, and Chippendales was out on Overland in California, and it was a big discotheque, and they started with the male stripper thing there. That was a new thing, and so they had it on one particular night. I think it was like a Thursday nights, and so what that did was, the guy was smart when he did that. What that did was they only allowed women to the show. They didn't want gays or anything else. It was only women. And I think he lost out there because they'd have benefited from the gays and the trans and all that. All it is money. People buying drinks. So, but it was only women were allowed. And then after the show, about 10 o'clock at night, the whole club was full of women. So every guy in the town would be there. So it's a really good idea as far as, making money. But Angel Flight pants, the sexiest men's pants in the world, other than pleated pants with a little cuff on them or whatever. But Angel Flight black dress slacks that were billed, and they fit real good all over on a guy. And they would wear those little chunk heel shoes, real shiny, real pretty, like black shoes. And then they usually had a really good body. Now at Chippendales, they had the bartenders and the waiters wore those Angel Flight slacks with the dress shoes and no shirt and the bow tie and the little white cuffs on their wrists. And like I wasn't even interested in the show. The show was lousy. They had some old dude with saggy chest and all that came out in a fireman's suit and everything, and he's stripping off. I'm like, oh man, this is a male strip show that everybody screams about they want to go to. It was really bad as far as I was concerned. It didn't impress me. I could walk down Venice Beach and see better than that for free. So I mean, and women were hanging from the rafters and trying to reach in these guys' panties to tip him. It was hilarious. And so I went back to the table. It was a real nice little booth there. And so while everybody else was watching the show and standing on top of big upholstered chairs and hanging off the ceiling and all that, screaming and going crazy. And I let the guy wait on me, that bartender, waiter guy. And I was just like, just keep bringing the drinks. When you see me get a little low, I'll take another one. And I just sat there and drank and watched him. He was fine, okay? With those Angel Flight bell-bottom slacks and a no shirt, kind of maybe Italian, Latin-looking, with a nice dark hair, comb back, real sharp, in real good shape, yeah. And it's like the next thing I'm gonna do is go, can I buy you? But anyway, had a blast that way. I've really had a great time at that club. And the show did not throw me, and it was like a total waste of money for anybody to pay for a ticket for me because it just didn't do anything for me. But I guess that was the beginning of the male stripper shows. They got better as they went through the years, and different people attempted that. I've dressed a lot of male dancers, and they were like 200% better than they did when they started back then. But yeah, so bell bottoms. You guys need to know what bell bottoms are. Look it up. Because everybody's doing a lot of that 60s and 70s stuff now. I'm seeing a lot of the old hippie clothes from the 60s with the paisleys and the old cottons from India with the prints and all that. That's funny. But, whatever works. It's what is your style? What is really your style? I've worn bell bottoms all these years. I've never stopped. I make bell bottoms. I retail them. I make some of the nicest 60-inch bell bottoms you ever saw. And I even make bell bottoms with a V-cut waist. And people love them. But I've always worn them. I have bell bottom suits. Love them. Absolutely love them. And actually, I miss Ditto's pants. They were the nicest suits. They were a slight bell bottom, but they were tailored really nice, and they looked really good on girls, and they had cool jackets that matched, and they were different colors and soft denims and things like that. But, yep, I'm a bell-bottom girl from way back. I've worn my platforms since the 70s and my bell-bottoms, and still have a lot of my original clothes from way back, and I hope you enjoy them too, because they are big, bad, back in style for 2019 to 2020. That is the winter dress that's now in style. I hope they let the guys wear them too, because they're cute. But anyway, hope you have a great one, and throw me a cool thumbs up, and subscribe for more interesting vlogs like this. Talk to you later.